Hello and welcome back to Mortals and Portals, a Pathfinder real play podcast. I am your host and GM, Zach, and joining me at the table is...
Adam, and I play Jules, an Azurketi bard.
I'm Joel, and I play Dax, a kobold rogue.
Ryan, and I am here.
Yes, yes you are. Hey, where's Ryu? Have you seen him?
I'm still here.
All right.
Ryu is
Still making
MIA.
music, yeah.
Yeah.
He's with all of us now.
Yes.
And who's this other guy?
I'm Taryn, and I play Waltz, a human champion.
Nice. Good job, everyone. Yeah, well, last time on Mortals and Portals, nothing major happened, I don't think. Can you guys remember anything? I don't know.
I feel like there was something.
Yeah, there's
yeah,
something had to have happened.
did.
Oh yeah, Adam didn't plug his mic in. That's right. That's what
Oh
it was.
yeah,
that's
that was
right.
That's it. That was it.
That was the thing that
That
happened.
was it.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Nothing else. Yeah. Well. Oh wait, it's coming back to me. Dax battled some sort of crazy monster inside the Arcanor's vault. Some spiky-backed, bloodthirsty, smaller creature that just seemed like it wanted to literally suck out Dax's blood and kill him that way and then devour him. So yeah, it was pretty intense, but Dax was very resourceful, managed to get around him and use the Arcanor as a weapon against him, luring the beast, making it jump over the pedestal, and then placing the Arcanor on top of it, shooting the beam out once again, throwing the beast to the side and giving him a small opening to run and go hide, because Dax isn't entirely sure if he can beat this creature and he doesn't know how he's going to get out of the vault. So last we saw Dax, he was hiding behind a log with the bloodthirsty creature, nursing its wounds and lurking towards him. So that's where we left Dax. And Waltz, the new commander of the Drake Knights, started to gather up all the Drake Knights and, in an attempt to distract them, told them to all get together and start writing down a list of everything that they think needs to change within the Drake Knight organization. And while they were all distracted, after getting patched up a bit by Whisk, he started to head towards the dungeons to go speak with Geldyr to address some of the visions he's been having, in which, when he punched Geldyr, he saw Dax die. And as he pondered that, he felt compelled to go speak to him and figure out what's going on there. And yeah, and then we get to the real stressful part of the session, in which Jules and Ryu were fleeing Desmar, and obviously Jules was tail whipped and thrown off the hippogriff and was in free fall, which left it up to Ryu to go get him. And Ryu elected to send Smith after him and then attempt to jump onto Desmar and battle him and distract him and give Smith time to go get Jules. And I mean, I don't think I've ever seen such real life bad fortune forsake a player with their dice rolls. And that did not go too well. So yeah, Ryu struggled to have his plan come to fruition, but did every single thing he could to make sure that he was still able to give Smith time to free Jules. And Ryu lost the pistol. He was having trouble staying on Desmar. Desmar is incredibly formidable, powerful, and eventually he realized he had regained his breath weapon and was going to unleash it on Smith, killing Jules, killing Smith, giving Ryu nothing to land on himself. So Ryu made the ultimate sacrifice, put himself in between Smith and Desmar, accepted his fate, threw his sword into the Drake's breath weapon, the concoction of his sword that is made of rare magical material, this power that's been lurking within him as the Unbound, and Desmar's breath weapon all combined for a magnificent explosion that absolutely destroyed Desmar and engulfed Ryu, saving Jules and Smith, but killing Ryu in the process. The end of that is where we ended our session.
That's right. It's real. No
Yeah.
plot hacks allowed.
Yeah, if you think
Damn you,
that
GM
we're...
Zacharnesty.
Yes.
Damn you.
Yeah, if you guys think that we're like pencil whipping stuff or pausing things off to the side and trying to make our script play out nicely, that is not happening, because I think like 9 episodes ago, I pretty much made Ryu the chosen one, if you remember, and now he's dead. So we're rolling dice here, baby. We're playing Pathfinder just like you guys do. And
I was
yeah, that's what
upset
happened.
in real life after that.
So yeah, we're not going to check in with Ryu, if spoiler alert. And
In case you're also watching,
in case you're all like, "Whoa, what's going on?"
Because we
Yeah.
know we have that guy that doesn't start at episode 1.
I mean, we could just check in with them and just have some crickets.
Sure.
And back to Dax.
We're not gonna check out Jules right now because
Jules would just be.
yes,
You check in with Benjamin.
What is that guy up to?
He's,
I do
just,
wanna
he's
know
on
what
the
he's
ship
up
right
to.
now,
I
staring
kinda
at the
miss him.
sky, like, "Come on, shoot the flare! I want to help."
They're gonna do it any time now, guys.
The guy with the
no.
flare gun
Benjamin
is
Origin episode.
asleep.
Here's where it starts.
Benjamin, you haven't eaten in days.
We're gonna check in with Dax, who, as I mentioned, is hiding behind a log with a slowly approaching bloodthirsty beast. Dax, you just took shelter behind this log. You felt like you were hidden, and you looked up and noticed you left a trail of blood dripped across the log. So your heart is pounding as you hear the snarls of the beast lumbering towards you, and the creature stops and puts its foot on the log and begins to scan the nearby brush, literally 5 feet behind you, standing on the very log you're leaning against. So he used 1 action to get up and 2 actions to move over to the log to cover the same distance you did. And that is where he ended his turn. And that takes us to you, Dax. What do you do on your turn?
Oh my goodness. I dare not move. I am going to simply, I guess, try to hide better. I don't want to move and risk getting seen. I'm not going to try to really adjust too much, just maybe sink down lower, make myself as small as possible.
Okay, I'm going to roll that hidden check for you.
Ah, crap. I forgot.
What is
they're
your
hidden.
stealth modifier?
Plus 11.
All right, Dax. So you try and control your breathing the best you can. You feel like anybody could hear your heart pounding right now. So you're just trying to calm yourself the best you can in this moment. You see a chunk of bark that has fallen off the log and reach out and grab it as slowly as you can and sort of press it up against your chest in an attempt to hide yourself better against this log. As you reach your hand out, some of your own blood from the monster's jaws drip down on your hand, and you freeze for a moment. Grab the large chunk of bark, slowly put it up against your chest, and just close your eyes. And that'll take us to the creature who's going to attempt to seek.
Are you like laying on the ground or where
Yeah.
are you?
It kind of makes me think
That's
of
how
like
I see
that
it.
Yeah.
that scene from Fellowship of the Ring where
Exactly.
the horses
Yeah,
are above
yeah,
like
yeah.
the log.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
Exactly, yep.
That's good. The creature is scanning the thick, swampy brush and looks down and
Oh, no.
sees a speck of your blood on the log and tilts its head. But as it's staring at this speck of blood, another drop comes from its teeth right next to that very drop that it was observing. And then it tilts its head again, thinking that that old drop was merely another one that dripped from its jaws, and looks deeper into the tree line, steps off the log over Dax. Dax, you feel its tail drag along the bark that you have over your body, and the creature takes a few steps deeper into the brush, 20 feet past you.
Oh my gosh.
Brings us back to Dax.
I will peek my head up and look around, see if I can... I mean, I know there's a fog, but I guess see if there's any... Can I see any of the walls of this building, or am I too far from any of those?
You can roll a perception check if you want.
Awesome. 17.
So you slide the bark down a little bit, trying not to compromise your position too much, and just scan your surroundings. So the gas that was released by the spores has started to disperse a bit. You do notice that there's a bit of a strange taste in your mouth as you take note of that, though. You start to scan your surroundings into the thick brush. You can see the roof of the building fairly clearly. You can see the entry point that you came in on. And as you start to look for exterior walls, following those walls down, you can see them only up to the point that it becomes obscured by the thick trees in this swampy biome, and you don't really know how far it is to the walls from where you're at.
Sure.
And it just looks like, in general, all around you is vegetation, shallow water, perhaps, just truly in a swamp, which is an environment that is extremely foreign to Dax in general, but is somewhat analogous to some of the acidic pools that reside on Drakis, and there are some radioactive vegetation and things like that. So there are environments that mimic this, but this is a very foreign feeling to you for sure. What do you do with your second action?
20 feet is still really close. And so Dax is going to, relinquish the last two actions and wait until the creature gets a little further away. He doesn't feel confident that he can get up and start moving without making a noise that would be heard from 20 feet away, really. So he's just going to let this creature get further away before he gets up and tries to find a way out of here. So I guess since I looked around, I'll just rehide then.
Okay.
That's
an interesting
I don't like that smile.
That's not a good smile.
That's a very interesting roll.
That means Zach's trying to figure out what to do with it. He's stalling.
Yeah. I like these secret checks. These are fun.
That is not a nat 20 smile, I don't think.
Yeah. If he rolls again, you know he's rolling a percentage die.
Good point.
Dax, you reach forward to grab the bark once again that you slid down from your head to get a better perspective, and you go to slide it up, and as you slide it, it scrapes against one of the nails of your foot in an unexpected way and makes a bit of a scratching sound, and the creature whips its head around, stares directly at you as you covered yourself with this bark, and you remain completely still, and it starts to step towards you, and then you hear a splash off in the distance, and it whips its head around the other way and starts sprinting into the brush. You nat 20, bro. I just wanted to mess with you.
Oh, wait. Heck yeah. So maybe you should play poker, I guess.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh, man.
That was
Holy
well
cow.
played.
Okay. So then I guess that takes his turn.
Yep. So he started sprinting into the brush
Okay.
with all of his
So,
actions.
all right. Seeing the creature run off gives a big sense of relief to Dex. So he's going to kind of quickly move the piece of bark off of him, since that creature's making so much noise sprinting through here. He's going to cast the piece of bark aside and get up, look over his body a little bit, and put a hand on that log, kind of leap over it, and start making his way in the opposite direction of the heading of that creature, moving 25 feet. So I guess mechanically he'll get up from prone, move 25 feet, and then up to you if you need like taking stock of my body to be in action, or if not, then I'll just move another 25 feet.
Yeah, you can just move.
Okay. So I guess all in all, move 50 feet away from the creature.
Okay, so you move the opposite direction of the creature. You can still hear it blazing through the brush in the opposite direction of you, creating even further distance, and you feel, at least for now, you're a safe distance from this creature. What do you do?
Okay, hearing this bounding away from me, I'm gonna take a second to look at this wound on my shoulder from where it bit me and drew all this blood. I guess, do I see anything unusual? Is it just a wound? Is it like festering? Is it doing anything weird?
All right, so you're looking down at this wound, and you can tell this is not a typical wound. So you can administer first aid to it, and you can regain some health as you would normally expect. But in terms of how it affected your overall hit point maximum, like your maximum healthiness, you would need to spend a full night resting to regain that effect. This is not something you can just patch up and get over with quickly.
God, this isn't good. I will reach into my bag, grab some bandages or cloth and just kind of cover it, apply some pressure to it, and use my battle medicine feat to attempt to regain some hit points.
All right.
That is an 18.
Success.
Oh no, that's lame. I only get regained 6.
All right, so you see all this blood running down your arm. You're trying to suppress the bleeding. You can feel a lot of pressure. You are losing a lot of blood, so you use more bandages than you really have before and wrap it as tightly as you can, trying to suppress it. And you can tell you've bought yourself some time, but you will need to find a safer location and get some rest and really monitor this wound. But for now, you have a lot more things to worry about. So now that you've healed yourself, you're out of combat, at least for now. So what is Dax's objective? What are you trying to do?
I'm going to keep making my way in the same direction. I figure eventually I'll have to hit a wall, and then from that point I can a little more strategically find an exit. While I'm trudging through this swamp, taking care to try to stick on any dry paths I can find, of course, and, maybe hopping from log to log. I'm going to keep an eye out for any more creatures, any movement, of course, but I guess specifically those little mushroom creatures.
So you're trying to be stealthy, essentially, but still move. Okay, so we're going to use exploration mode for this, and we're going to use the avoid notice, so you attempt a stealth check to avoid notice while traveling at half speed.
Gotcha. And is this also a secret check, or do I do this one?
I'm enjoying these secret checks, so I think I'm going to do it.
All right.
You said plus 11, right?
Yep.
All right, so Dax, you give out a bit of a sigh. Don't really know where you're going. You don't even know what your plan is, even if you find a wall, what you're going to do, but you're just trying to find some sort of boundary. You make your way into the brush, stepping over logs, avoiding puddles, moving through the brush. You hear all sorts of sounds in this biome, all sorts of strange foreign creatures. You can tell you are absolutely not alone in this place, and you hold on tightly to the arcanor and make your way towards a wall. And with that, we'll cut to Waltz.
Ooh.
So Waltz, you have taken the keys to the dungeon from one of the Drake Knights in passing. You have sent him off to the group to write down things they should change about the Drake Knights. So you are alone, descending the stairwell into the dark dungeons. What's Waltz thinking, doing? What's he looking for? Just going straight for Geldyr if you can find him? What's going on?
Waltz will either take a torch that's lit or light one of his own to give him a little bit of light.
You can just grab one off the wall as you're making your way down.
Perfect. So Waltz is going to inspect the prison, making sure that there's no stray Drake Knights there or anything. I know that Geldyr will obviously hear somebody, but I'm just hoping he won't recognize me by the time I kind of understand the layout and see if there's any other Drake Knights there first. Because I want it to just be me and him alone whenever I encounter him.
Okay. Can you roll me a deception check then?
Yes. Ooh, 13.
All right.
That's one of those numbers that's like kind of on the teetering
Right.
point, either good or not so good.
I think it's good.
Thank you.
That's pretty good for what Ryan was rolling last session. Ryan
Hey,
would have
Ryan would've
killed
died
for a
for
13.
Too soon.
I would literally have died for a 13.
Yeah. You died for a nat 1 and a 3% is what happened.
Not worth it.
All right. And then can you also roll me a perception check?
Yes. 21.
All right. You make your way down the stairwell, the torchlight dancing along the dark dungeon walls. You round a corner and just see a long hall of cells. Your torchlight is the only light in here at this point. See a few puddles on the ground, and as you start to walk down the corridor, you're trying your best to hide your face. And as you're walking, you stop and immediately sense someone on your right peripheral in the first cell. And you stop for a moment, trying your best to hide your face and look into the cell to see who it is. And you see Geldyr sitting against the wall with his knees up, his elbows resting on his knees, and his head down, and he raises his head And as you look at him, you can see a lot of redness around his eyes. Almost like he was maybe crying before you came down, but it could be hard to tell. He's been punched in the nose a lot. Blood just running down his face. And he instantly recognizes you. Not surprising considering how much time he spent with you. He may have figured you would come. And he says, "Well, Waltz, in your endless quest to keep me alive, it seems you finally killed me."
Not yet, Geldyr. But I gotta be honest, I'm not too far away.
I suppose everyone has their limits. Even you, Waltz.
Are we alone down here?
You could say that.
If you have any hopes of staying alive, you better provide some worth real quick. Where's the arcanor at?
Well, you must not know me very well, Waltz. Seems like you need me. What assurances do I have?
None. If I don't get any value from you, then the next 20 seconds or so, I know now what I have to do. And Waltz will pull out his sword.
His eyes grow wide, more out of skepticism. And he says, "If you don't get any value out of me, you're dead too."
Yeah, something tells me I'm already dead, Geldyr.
More perceptive than I thought. You know, Waltz, things were just fine until you showed up. Sure, the people of Karos served Scyndor, but they were safe. And our strike nights, we were just moving cargo, mate. No harm in that. Then you and Digsby's crew fell out of the sky, and it's been nothing but death since. And for what? To spare the old-timers' bag of apples?
Yeah, and he seems to be doing most of the killing around here.
You're guilty by association, Waltz. I hope the liberation of Nisserine was worth it. The Apple Man's dead. The Horned Fella's probably dead, or worse. We'll both be dead by nightfall, and the people of Karos will soon answer to Scyndor. Oh, and, you can add him to the list. And he gestures his head to the right, and you follow his gaze and see a long-armed figure with their arms suspended in chains from the ceiling and their head drooped over, and you see the vague silhouette as the fire light dances off them, and it is a furry humanoid.
Yeah, Waltz will walk up with the torch and inspect this creature.
So you step away from the bars of Geldyr's cell, take a few paces down, hold the torch up to the adjacent cell, and you see a head hung low with a pair of spectacles on the ground, and you know this is Dunadast.
All of the life will flee from Waltz's eyes as he just looks in shock and probably continues to stare, because I feel like he would have a hard time understanding how Dunadast got here and is dead in Scalekeep when he was just with him. I guess 2 days ago he was with him?
Yeah, about 2 or 3 days ago.
After he finally snaps to, he'll drop the torch and immediately rush up to him and try and perform his lay on hands.
All right, you frantically sift through the ring of keys, find the correct key, open the cell, step in there. You rush up to him and you put your hands on his shoulder. Immediately, you sense no life in Dunadast. He has no reaction to you putting your hand on him. Even knowing this, you still attempt to heal him magically and expend your lay on hands. A subtle glow fills the cell. You see Geldyr is now standing up against the bars in his cell, looking in at Dunadast. You cast this with all the hope in the world, but are immediately met with despair as nothing happens.
Waltz will take a moment there and contemplate any other options that he might have to keep him alive and realize that he has nothing and feels a sense of hopelessness. Probably sheds a couple tears. He'll take a while to gather himself.
Geldyr interrupts. No use, mate. Looks like he was poisoned.
By who?
Beats me. Gestures over in the corridor, and you see a crushed vial.
Waltz will walk over and pick it up.
You walk over to a few shards of broken glass. A little bit of blood painted across them.
Can I do a perception check to see if I can find anything, any other hint that would, I don't know, tell me anything. I guess I don't even know what I would be looking for.
Sure, you can roll a perception check.
Okay. 11.
You start to just frantically look around and you're just hearing your heart pounding in your head. You're just getting very emotional and you can't really focus on anything and you don't really understand what's going on. The last thing you expected was to walk in here and find Dunadas dead.
Right.
And you're even more confused. You don't know if this is another party interfering with what's going on. You have absolutely no context and you're simply emotional and confused. Whoever it was must have been quite the professional. Not easy to pull off an assassination in Scale Keep.
Listen, Geldyr, I'm going to give you one more chance. Tell me, is there any way that you would have any influence on Dax's life?
What are you talking about, mate? I'm locked up in a cell. I haven't seen Dax since Forgost's lair.
As they carried your body away, I saw your body turn to Dax's for a moment, which makes me think one of two things. Either me leaving you alive leads to Dax's death or capture, or you not being the captain of the Drake Knights leads to Dax's death or capture. Assuming one of those two scenarios leads to Dax's death, I have a 50-50 shot at keeping him alive. So, unless you can convince me how we can make you leader of the Drake Knights and ensure that Dax and I make it out alive with the Arcanor, or I kill you and find him myself. Plan A sounds a lot more complicated than the other one.
He just shakes his head in bewilderment like you just gave him way too much information at once. Visions of Dax's death. Sorry to break it to you, Dax is the only one of Digby's crew I actually like. Promise, not trying to kill him. Are you saying Dax is here in Scale Keep? Look, if you want my help, you're going to have to give me a little bit more information than that. Especially if my life's on the line, okay?
That's just it, Geldyr. I don't know if I want your help. So you better make yourself real useful real quick, because time is too important at this point.
Well, Waltz, I can be incredibly useful if I know what's going on. What are you even asking me?
Waltz will open up the gate to Geldyr. Like I said out there, you can be leader of the Drake Knights. Dax is in here with me somewhere.
I have to kill you, Waltz, which is what I was trying to do. So yeah, I can be leader of the Drake Knights if you march on out there with me and let you stab you in the heart.
You must have missed it, but the second part of that plan ensures that Dax and I make it out of here alive.
Well, sometimes you can't have it all, Waltz. Trust me, I've been trying. Maybe you should give me all the details. Otherwise, you're forcing me to lie my way out of this one, and it seems like that's not what you're after. Listen, I failed to stop you on the road to Kairos, in Kairos, at Forgost's lair, and right now, here in Scale Keep. I'm only alive until Scyndor shows up, which we have in common. And if that doesn't persuade you that I have no incentive to work for Scyndor anymore, then maybe you should just come clean. I could bring all of Digby's crew to Scyndor on a silver platter. Wouldn't make a difference. I failed too many times. The only way I live is if you succeed.
If you only live if I succeed, why have you tried to kill me so many times?
I only live now if you succeed. If I killed you, took out Digby's crew, and made myself captain, this would be a lot different situation. But this is a new situation, and now the only way I live is if you succeed. Keep up, Waltz.
All right. Start off by telling me where the Arcanor is.
Well, I would have said it's in that ugly building with all the overgrown roots, but the arcanor got scooped up a while ago. I'm surprised you didn't sense it. That's right, you wield divine magic. So special.
You don't have any knowledge on why you being leader of the Drake Knights might help keep Dax alive.
Couldn't tell you, mate. But I do know this. If Dax is here and he just scooped up the arcanor, we gotta come up with a plan right quick. Because Scyndor definitely knows he took it.
Well, what's the plan then, Geldyr?
He puts his hands on his hips and paces around the cell and looks up at the ceiling for a while. You see him moving his head side to side, smirks to himself a little bit, shakes his head, looks at you. You're not gonna like my plan, Waltz.
Well, if I don't like it, I can always go with my other plan.
Sure you can. Then you'll both be dead. But I'll be right there with you. So maybe you'll take some solace in that.
Well, let's hear it then, Geldyr.
I can't stress enough, you don't have a lot of time to think about this. Scyndor's on his way. He's been on his way since day one. Now that you've taken his most prized possession, he's going to be booking it full speed. I didn't notice the front doors of that vault open, or any holes blown in the wall, did you?
No, I didn't.
That means Dax is probably still in there, which is a problem in itself, which means we need to buy Dax time. But we don't know how much time we have, because Scyndor's going to show up at any moment. But we do know that Scyndor knows that you're in Digsby's crew, and everybody knows your name's Waltz, right?
Right.
Well, we need to buy Dax time, like I said. If you, say, leave Scalekeep in a very noticeable way, looking nervous, looking like you have something you shouldn't, make sure lots of Drake Knights notice you, and make as much distance from Scalekeep as you can. When Scyndor shows up, if people even mention your name, say you left in a hurry, you can bet he's going to be looking for you as fast as possible. Only you won't have the arcanor. And if I can do something to make sure Dax gets out of here, we'll have the arcanor, see? And you'll buy us some time to escape.
All right, Geldyr, where is the first place you would look for Dax at?
You're not keeping up, are you, Waltz? I said there's no holes in the vault. He's probably still in there.
So how are you going to get him out?
I'll think of something.
That's not very convincing, Geldyr.
We don't have time, Waltz. You don't understand. Do you want to do this
agree.
or not?
Geldyr, you got to give me a little bit more. You've done nothing to earn my trust at all. How are you going to find him?
I don't know. I suppose I'll blow a bloody hole in the wall. How about that? I'm sure he could find me then.
Where are you going to get the sun powder? Where do they keep that around here? Obviously, if you couldn't move a boulder, you probably couldn't move sun powder, so I probably have to help you out with that, at least, don't I?
Waltz, you're not as good at this as I am. I can tell you're trying to get the whole plan for yourself.
Well, then I guess I'm wasting my time at this point, and I'll lock the gate to his cell and leave.
All right, you turn around, close the door, lock the cell, and you start to turn away, and you hear, "Wait, Waltz."
I guess he'll just hear me stop walking out. I won't say anything, but he'll hear my boots stop after he says my name.
Can you make sure this gets to my daughter? And you hear the rustle of an envelope, and he simply tosses it out the cell onto the floor.
Waltz will slowly look back on the ground and see what he threw down, understanding what it is. Walk back without saying a word, pick up the envelope, and walk out.
Can you roll me a religion check?
Oh my gosh.
That was on 3. It wobbled to 17, and then wobbled back to 3, 8. Mediocre rolls tonight.
You feel completely disconnected from any sense of guidance on the decision you just made.
I feel like that makes sense too. All right. Yeah, I guess like I said, Waltz will walk out.
All right, Waltz, you make your way to the top of the stairwell. You open the dungeon door. You close it behind you. Lock the door. You're back in the courtyard of Scalekeep. You have locked Geldyr in the dungeon. Probably the last time you're going to see Geldyr. What do you do?
I'll make sure I keep the keys on me. Can I just do a perception check to see if I can get a general lay of the land, the building that Geldyr was talking about, where the arcanor is, and then anything else that I see?
Yeah, roll a perception check.
Thank you.
You're welcome, bro.
Nat 20.
Oh,
Sick.
We needed that.
spice.
All right. You scan the courtyard. You see all of your Drake Knights standing there with Whisk and Glorm. Like, that's a stupid suggestion. No, you're not supposed to say that. Walt says you need to, support all your... whatever. Okay, yeah, we'll write... no name calling. That's so stupid. Oh, you're doing it right now. You're calling them names. You call them stupid. Well, whatever. Writes it on there. You scan the rest of the courtyard. You clearly see the building that Geldyr was referring to. Completely overgrown in vegetation. As he said, you see the doors are closed. The rest of the structure seems well intact. You scan looking for any location that may have sun powder in it, and you see what clearly looks like an armory of sorts across the courtyard.
Waltz will very quickly sprint over there, realizing that he doesn't really know any other way other than the suggestion that maybe he just took literally from Geldyr of blowing a hole in the side of Scalekeep to get Dax out.
All right. Are you just going to run to that location? Is
I think
Waltz
so.
trying to look like he's blending in, or is he like, I don't have time, I gotta just do the synchro.
Yeah, that one where he's not worried about what
So much cooler.
anybody else is thinking.
So Waltz, you look around, your heart is starting to pound, the adrenaline's going, you don't know how much time you have. You know, no matter what, you're about to try and blow a hole in the wall, and that's going to get a lot of attention anyway. So you just run across the courtyard. You notice a couple eyes look at you in confusion from the group, like, hey, what's Commander Waltz doing? I don't know. I'm not supposed to ask. I don't want to mess with him. Yeah. And you make your way to the barracks. You throw the door open. You see many weapons, swords, axes, bows aligned along the wall, and just some carryover from your nat 20 perception check.
Yes.
You don't see any sun powder jumping out at you immediately, but you see what looks like a back room of the armory. You make your way up to a cage that is locked. You look at your hoop of keys. You fidget along them, find one that looks like it might work, unlock this cage, open the door, make your way to the back, and you see a few barrels of sun powder against the wall,
Yes.
marked with a red stripe of paint across the lid.
That means explode.
Just like video games, bro.
Red means boom.
Waltz is really strong, so he's going to carry all of them with him.
How many is Waltz going to try and grab?
Real quick, I'm assuming there's just like little bags around that, maybe arrows are in or other parts or other equipment, maybe some cloth. Can I fill up 3 little bags of sun powder and put them on my person?
You can. Are you trying to do this very quickly?
Yes.
All right, roll me a thievery check.
I got a 6.
All right. You take a pouch that you find. You're just throwing drawers open, trying to find something that can work as a pouch. You find a few, and you're trying to fill up the bags as fast as you can, and you're frantically spilling a lot of sun powder on the ground, and you manage to only cleanly fill up 1 bag, but you feel like you've spent too much time doing this, and you're shaking too much, and you don't feel like you can get 3 bags.
Perfect. I'll take that bag, and then I'll close the barrels back off, and I'll try and carry 2, one on each shoulder if I can.
Whoa, dude. I hope you drop one and then it just explodes in there.
No. I don't hope that.
Can you roll me an athletics check?
Another nat 20, 29.
Oh
Dude,
my God.
it's sick. Man, you should give some of that luck to Ryan, dude.
Ryan, it's easy. Just roll 20s instead of 1s.
Yeah, what's wrong with
Did you
my
try that, Ryan?
dice?
All right. You squat down low, you wrap your arms around 1 barrel each, and you squat, lifting it up and throwing it up on your shoulders. So you have a barrel on each shoulder, and then you just start sprinting to the door of the armory, kick the door open, and start running into the courtyard. Hey, Commander Waltz, do you need help with that?
No, I'm putting fireworks together for when Scyndor gets back.
What? Whoa, that's awesome. I love this commander. Wow, that's so cool.
My first duty as commander.
Party!
Throw a heck of a party.
Hey, I'm not going to
Dude,
tell you guys
boss.
again. You got to finish that list. Keep going. I run a tight ship around here.
Okay, yeah, no problem, Waltz. So cool. And you're sprinting towards the vaults. And with that, we'll cut back to Dax.
God, I hope I'm not on the other side of the wall when he blows it up.
Dax, you've been weaving through this terrain the best you can, making your way in a straight line, trying not to lose your bearing, drift off in any one direction, get lost again. You feel like you've made a lot of progress. Can you roll me a perception check?
18.
Dax, I have a surprise for you. You're moving your way through the brush. You step on a thick root for a moment, rest your hand against a tree and look, and you can see the wall of the structure. A sense of relief comes over you, and you step forward, and then you feel your foot land on something squishy, and you look down, and it looks like you're stepping on a log, but you follow it a little bit longer, and you hear
Oh no.
hissing and turn and see a coiled, large snake that snaps out at you. I just had you roll initiative without telling you. So
Wait, you rolled initiative?
your
without
perception
telling me?
was initiative.
I thought he was about to fight poop.
That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. That would have been cool. It snaps out at you. Does a 10 hit your AC?
No.
You're no stranger to slithery, deep-dwelling animals from the dark lands of Drakis. You instantly know this is a very serious situation and not a creature to be taken lightly. All of your muscles flex in a moment as you dodge as the powerful jaws of the python snap near your ear, and its tail whips around and is going to try and wrap around you.
Oh, no.
Does a 23 beat your...
Whatever it is you're about to say, probably.
Does a 23 beat your AC?
Ooh, yes it does.
So it quickly coils back around and then is going to make another lunge at you, and its long, serrated teeth dig deep into your opposite shoulder from the one the last monster bit into, and it deals 5 damage, and you feel its tail wrap around your leg, and then its body starts to tighten around your leg and is going to try and constrict you. And it deals 2 damage as it starts to crush your leg. Your turn.
I assume that means I'm grappled.
You are grabbed, yep.
Yo, Snake, what the heck? Like,
I'm walking here.
hey, full circle, baby.
Hey. Caught off guard, Dax is like pretty frightened, pretty startled. I'm going to attempt to break free, first off.
All right.
What sort of check is that?
It's an athletics check.
That is a 12.
You go to try and tug your leg away, and you only feel it grow tighter.
Let go. With gritted teeth, Dax is just going to start using his claw-like fingernails. I'm just going to try to, like, squeeze this thing and inflict as much pain as I can, and then try to get out one more time.
All right. Roll an attack roll.
That is a 12 to hit.
All right. And then also you have to roll a DC 5 flat check to see if this even registers.
No way. I can already tell.
No, it's not a nat 1, but it's a
Oh.
3.
The nat 3, baby.
You go to try and punch, and then the snake slithers and coils around you up higher and then pins that arm to your side, and you aren't even able to get the attack off, but you can try and escape again with your third action. So roll that athletics check.
Come on, Daxy.
Come on. Dax is really nervous now because he's got the arcanor in one arm, and his free arm he just got pinned, so he's pretty stressed right now. That is a 22.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a pretty big number. Right, Zach?
That is a big number. As you attempt to squirm free, the snake tries to cover more of your body, and in the process loosens its grip slightly so it can work its way up your body. And you duck down in that moment and then dive out of a gap in the coil and roll free of the snake.
Once again, I say bite it before it bites you.
And that'll take us back to the snake. The snake is going to try and bite you once again.
Oh, too late.
Uh-oh.
Does a 17 hit you?
No, it doesn't.
So
All right. Does an 18 hit you?
No.
Oh, man,
not too
nice.
late.
There's still there's still time.
Bite it.
You can still bite it first.
Start
And
flossing.
its third attack misses massively with the penalty. So the snake is just rapid firing, trying to bite at you with your blood dripping from its teeth. And Dax, as you're dodging this snake, making all of this noise, you look past it deeper into the biome and see the familiar monster that has been hunting you starting to step over a log off in the distance. It grins, blood dripping from its teeth. What do you do?
I am going to just look at the ground really quick for something that I can throw.
Roll me a percentage die.
55.
You look down and you don't see any rocks, but you do see like loose mud if you just wanted to try and scoop up some mud or something.
How far away from the wall am I at this point? Like, I was on my way to it and then got tripped up by the snake. How far away from that wall
75
did he
feet.
So I am going to, in that case, sprint towards the wall. At this point, I can't fight these things. All I can do is run and hope that I can locate a door before I get killed, basically. And at this point, Dax's last hope is that the chaos of the food chain really takes over, and that the snake and this creature get into it, I guess. Maybe the snake will also attack that thing as it tries to run past it. I don't really know. I don't have any other options. So I think that Dax is putting all of his eggs in that basket at this point. He's just going to keep running towards the wall, and we'll reassess at that point, I guess.
Right. You look at this creature off in the distance, your blood still dripping from its mouth, that looks extremely excited to see you. Can't wait to eat you. You look at this snake that is also trying very hard to eat you and crush you. And you decide to take off towards the wall. Maybe you can scale the wall, maybe you can find something. You just want to at least know you're on a boundary to origin yourself against. And you start sprinting towards this wall, and the creature behind you starts sprinting after you, jumping off.
No.
Stumps, tree branches, crawling along them, running, jumping. The snake starts to slither on the ground after you as well. And with that, we'll cut to Waltz. Waltz, you're sprinting up to this building with the explosive barrels on your shoulders. What do you do?
Waltz will run up to the wall, plant both barrels down, pop the opening on one barrel, feed his rope through, and get as much length of that rope as far away from the building as possible, and attempt to light the rope on fire using his flint and steel. Essentially, I'm trying to make this rope a long wick to get as much space in between me and this blast as possible.
How long is your rope, bro?
Good question. How long is a rope in Pathfinder 2e?
50 feet, probably.
50-foot rope, all right. You put the rope in there, you drag it out as far in a straight line as you can, you run to the end, you take out your flint, and you start trying to light the rope, and you see some murmurs from the Drake Knights. Oh, wait, is he lighting that now? Wait, what is he doing? I don't know. Hey, Commander Waltz, maybe don't do that right now, right there. That's gonna be a pretty big explosion. And you light it, and the fire starts running down the rope. Oh crap! We gotta get out of here. Wait, what is he doing? He's lost his mind. And they all just start screaming and running off in different directions. Dax, you're sprinting towards the wall. This creature is leaping on all fours, gaining on you, moving extremely quickly, jumping off trees, parkouring through the swamp. You're sprinting up to the wall. Can you roll me a fortitude save?
Oh, God. Okay. Hot dice, come on. Not bad. 23.
Nice. Half damage, though.
Oh.
Dax, the creature behind you jumps off of a stump, leaping after you, its claws outreached, about to grab your shoulders, and then a massive explosion erupts in front of you, blowing a hole in the wall. Debris flies at you, strikes the creature just as it was about to bite into your shoulder, sending it flying off in the distance. You cower down as the rubble hits you, the smoke overtakes you, and you take 4 damage. And the smoke clears. Waltz, you step into the vault and you see Dax crawling out of some rubble, looking beat up. You see a crushed monster off in the corner with a large chunk of rubble resting on its chest. You see a swampy biome. You have no idea what's going on, but Dax is slowly raising to his feet.
Dax, we gotta go.
And that is where we'll end our session. Wow, the great escape.
So good.
Actually, at least 2 people are reunited. Yeah.
Hopefully 4 damage was enough to kill that porcupine thing.
He didn't take
was
half
so
damage. He
straight.
failed. Wait, why am I talking about this right now? Shut up, Joel. Why are you trying to get me to talk about the episode and all the nitty gritty
scared.
details? You know we do that stuff.
Wow, he's never said it
in the
directly
downtime.
to me
Yeah,
before.
Joel
That
is a
hurt.
sneaky guy, man. Like he's always trying to do stuff like that. You know what? Talk about the downtime. Shut up. Hey, mortals, thank you for joining us for this episode. We really appreciate it. Thank you for sticking with us for so long. And hey, look, here's the deal. I'm not mad. Like, I don't want this to seem like I'm mad. I'm just pointing out that the ratio of listeners that we have on Apple Podcasts to the number of reviews we have on Apple Podcasts is not very good. So I'm not saying you guys are slacking. I'm not mad. It's just, if you could real quick, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, if you could just, leave us a good rating and a review. Yeah, like we'd really appreciate it. It's like, hey, it's cool. I know you're busy, but, just take a moment to do that. We'd really, really appreciate it. And tell your friends, as always, say, hey, you like listening to people play Pathfinder? And if they say yes, you should say, you should check out Mortals and Portals. And if they say no, you should say, you should check out Mortals and Portals. Either way, yeah, that's basically the moral
And
of the
then
story.
slap them.
Yeah, and then slap. Well, yeah, sure. Yeah, do that. Let us know how it went. Hop on our Reddit, say what happened when you slapped the person that said they didn't want to listen to a Pathfinder podcast. All right, cool. And I would like to thank Joel, who does all of our editing for vocals. It's an incredibly tedious task, but this dude owns it and gives us seamless, edited, amazing audio. He makes us sound good. He makes the episode flow. The reason it has that great pace to it, it's just Joel making us sound like professionals, which we are not. And I would like to thank Taryn, who does all of our sound effects, which is another pretty time-consuming task. You hear this thing and it's like, wow, what a cool sound effect. You're wrong. That was actually probably 5 sound effects at times that Taryn pieced together to make it sound like one and give it all these layers and this really cool, incredible ambience. So thank you for doing that, Taryn. You've poured through 10 billion sound effects in your life. You've listened to so many sound snippets. Thank you for doing that, man. You're a hero. And I would like to thank Adam, who does all of our original artwork. Wow, he just held up a sketch right now that he drew during the episode. It is Jules flipping me off because he didn't get a play. I'm assuming that's awesome.
You got it.
We should
Yeah.
put that on our Instagram. Hey, yeah, check us out on Reddit, Instagram, and Patreon and all that stuff. And I would like to thank Ryan, who does all of our original music, even when his character is dead. That's how professional this guy is. This guy is so professional. Thank you for doing that, Ryan. Love you, man. Your music is incredible. I love listening to it. It is amazing. And yeah, thank you, Mortals. We'll see you next time. Mortals. Roll me a percentage die.
55. 55.
People roll stupid 55s.
Do you want me to re-roll something more interesting?
No.
Here's 0 information.